Hi everybody, I am Jacob, and today we are working on a Dodge Mega Cab full restoration build. Rockers and cab corners along with all four doors, a box, and front fenders. There's a lot of work to do here, so I'm gonna dive in to how we do it. Stay tuned. Let's go over some of the partial damage here. You can see that our cab corners are completely rotted away, nothing is left. If we look on the inside, this is the inner part of our outer rocker. That is almost completely gone, and the actual inner here is also gone. There is not much left to these at all. The frame is in decent condition. It is very rusted. We're gonna give this a sandblast and a bed liner. And then looking at the doors too, there ain't much left to the inside of these. The rear ones aren't too bad, other than we got some corrosion coming in from the bottom. And the front ones are a little bit worse, but are still hanging together a little bit. But you can see that all the rust starts at the bottom, gets past the base seal, and starts working its way up into the interior. But as far as the main body goes, I think it's held together pretty decent for the year. Front fenders are also starting to get it too. So, starting to rain, let's bring this bad boy inside. I already have most of the interior paneling removed. So now we're gonna start taking off all of our doors and then move our way into the rockers themselves. These are what your door studs look like. You just go into the bottom of the door. Most of them are just gonna be a standard 13mm ratchet. So that's just what I use. Just like that, both doors are off. Time to move on to the front fender. These are our old doors that have been pretty much well destroyed. Look at how much Bondo's on here. I mean, that's a good 1/4 inch of Bondo. Even the bottom here is down to like 1/2 inch. So these doors are totally destroyed, but let's go take a look at the new doors. All right, this is our box that we have all prepped and done. The inside still has some Line-X that needs to get cleaned out for the next bed lining that can go into this. But other than that, it's been prepped and prepared. These are all of our brand new doors. So when I said I had brand new doors, these are all brand new doors. I mean, technically they are used, but man, there is not a single thing of rust or any corrosion in any of these. I've gone through and reprimed all of them. Some of them had dents. All the dents were PDR'd and fixed out of them. Good to go. Had a little bit of mud work on them, but altogether I'm pretty happy with how those came out. And this is our tailgate. Tailgate's been fully redone. There's a couple of good gashes and dents, but as far as this channel goes here, I mean, this thing was really corroded as far as just from weathering. The paint was cracked pretty good from sitting out in that sun. I'm not exactly sure where these parts were from, but they were down south somewhere, so definitely somewhere warm. But cleaned up the bottom a little bit as long as the inside. So we're gonna have lots of doors to put together here. Just to give you guys an idea of the inside mechanics of these doors, they're just your standard little brushed motor with a 2-speed pinion, and then it's all just mechanical gearing with your main ring gear tooth, and then your shear gears and all of your A arms and B arms. Most of the B arms from these doors are bent. I'm just assuming the guy that put them together broke them and didn't use them right. So I have all new parts from the new doors that are over in that corner. But other than that, these parts are prepped and ready to be painted. So yep, good to go here. Just like that. Front fenders off. Now we can move on the other side and rinse and repeat. Now we're getting some of this interior paneling out of the way. To do this, I just use a block of foam and wedge it in there to keep this piece out, because we're going to be welding right here. So all this needs to be protected from anything that could be heat related. So yep, just like that. First rocker taken off. This is what's left. So as one tends to do, you kind of get carried away with a project, but as you can see, our rockers are completely trimmed off. So now we're pretty much left with just the shitty kind of inners, and then the inner inners, and then technically the outers that we're gonna be putting on. A lot of this stuff is really bad. I mean, there's not a whole lot left, and this is basically your inner core. That's basically what you can call this. It's underneath the actual inner panel, and what it does is it just supports the outer and inner panel. So that's all that really does. It doesn't really need to be there. I mean, it comes from factory for a core support for the footboards and whatnot, and the main C channel and subframe. But other than that, it's not super useful. So I'm gonna sandblast it. We're gonna keep it there, and then we'll just use it as a minor backing and put like some 3/4 inch, probably maybe 2-inch thick rod, and run that down this whole area here just so we have a backing. And then we'll just mount our brackets up to there, and then that'll do plenty. Most of the time we just cut this off and don't use it since it's not necessary. Only on Dodges. Chevys and other vehicles, that inner core support is a lot more necessary because a lot of the other functions of the cab and chassis are built off of that. So this one we can get by. So I'm gonna go ahead and sandblast this whole entire thing, and hopefully I could do a little bit of a montage of that, show you how I do that, and then we'll move on to the next part.
Baby, you're a rolling star. Baby, you're a shining spark. You are. Baby, you're the queen of my heart. Baby, what are you made of, my girl?
All right, so we got all of the sandblasting done here. You can see that we have the extra part here, which is getting cut off, and then we're gonna be adding our reinforcement bar in the bottom. I got sand all over my face. That's what happens when you've been sandblasting for a few hours. Touched up the frame a little bit. Frame's been touched up, and now we're gonna move on to hopefully putting on our in and outers that come up underneath here and whatnot, and then we can start putting in some mud work and do our primer. So stay tuned, here we go.
With your body, just put your hands on mine and put your lips on mine. Move with my body.
All right, so I got this question last time. These are what our rockers and cab corners look like. We get these from LKQ. They're made by Mopar. Very nice parts. They're about 1/8 of an inch thick, and these are what we will be using for reinstalls. All right, now we're gonna take a look at what materials I'm using. This is mainly for our mud work. Behold! Okay, so what we're working with here is 3M Platinum Select Filler. So mainly what we use this for is after the Duraglass is on, this will be our kind of glaze over putty that we'll use. Very good stuff. No bubbles, no air pockets left in this stuff. The highest quality you can get from mud is right here. Moving over, we have our Duraglass. This is your standard USC Duraglass. Pretty good stuff. This is what goes on direct to metal, not galvanized. If the metal is galvanized, it has to be removed. This is just for plate or sheet metal. Really good stuff, super strong. We want this to hold everything together that has not been restored with a weld or whatnot. And it's the main hard, it's like the bone structure of all of the finite looking stuff. So, and that stuff, mainly we'll use a majority of that, come back with the 3M filler, and then end it all off with glaze if we have any other stuff that needs to be taken care of after priming. Our glaze is 3M glaze, it's green, and all of these materials are hardened with our hardener. This is just your standard blue tip, blue style hardener. Whenever I'm mixing mud, I take roughly 10 to 15%, most of the time less, and that's what my hardener is gonna be. So if I have if I have a plate of mud that's this thick, roughly about, I'd say maybe this much is hardener. So that's how you can adjust appropriately how much hardener you will need. And I'll go over this too on when I'm mixing. All right, everything from fabrication to sandblasting has been done on the inner rockers on this. So the outer rockers are ready to be installed. I'm gonna do all that in the next video. Everything from fabrication to welding. We're gonna show you how to do the mud work as long as primer and even paint. I'm gonna have that all in the next video. I do have 4 new doors and a box that the owner got from down south that have all been prepped already, and I've taken care of all of those. So those are done here. And the next video, I'll have the whole truck complete. I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done. It's a lot of work to get it from point A to point B. I'll go over hours and how they fluctuate. and how to finish a job like this in a decent time span, because it takes a lot more than just a single man to do a job like this. So next video will be coming out hopefully here within maybe a week or so. We'll see how quickly we can move along with other projects we got going on, but just wanted to say thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. As always, peace.